Hello, this is the August 2020 video edition of the Iowa General Fund Monthly Revenue Memo. I'm Jeff Robinson, Senior Fiscal Analyst for the Iowa Legislative Services Agency, the nonpartisan support agency of the Iowa Legislature. This video will cover Iowa net general fund revenue for the first 2 months of fiscal year 2021, and I will also review how final fiscal year 2020 net revenue is shaping up as the books on that year move towards closure at the end of September. Iowa net general fund revenue increased $333 million during July and August when compared to the same 2 months last year, a percentage increase of 25%. Gross cash receipts provided a $379 million boost for the period, while tax refund and school infrastructure transfers subtracted $46 million. Gross revenue growth was concentrated in individual and corporate income tax deposits. Both of these revenue sources were impacted by delays in the due date for tax year 2019 tax return filing and payments. The due dates for these two tax types were delayed until July 31st, 2020, as a result of delays in the due date for federal taxes, and this caused the large revenue jump shown in July and August. Turning to the 2020 fiscal year, at the June 30 conclusion of the cash year, gross general fund revenue was $66 million above projections. The end of August means tax refund totals should be final for fiscal year 2020. Tax refunds for the fiscal year finished $34 million above the March REC refund projection, and a higher level of refunds translates to decreased net revenue for fiscal year 2020. This table shows those two known items, cash year receipts and tax refunds for fiscal year 2020, along with the three remaining unknowns. Combined, the two known items represent $32 million in net revenue above projections. While fiscal year 2020 ended June 30, and refunds processed and charged to fiscal year 2020 ended August 31st, some transactions related to fiscal year 2020 will continue to be processed into the second half of September. And at this time, 3 areas of accounting transactions remain to be closed. First, the transfer out of the 6 cents of sales tax that is devoted to local school districts has one more adjusting transaction that will occur before this item is final. The transfer is budgeted to remove $511 million from fiscal year 2020 net revenue. Second, accrued revenue, meaning revenue that arrives after June 30, but is properly associated with economic and tax activity that occurred during fiscal year 2020, needs to be calculated, and deposits made in July and August split between fiscal year 2020 and fiscal year 2021. For fiscal year 2020, this adjustment is budgeted to add $361 million to final revenue. Finally, transfer revenue is projected to total $103 million for the fiscal year. Through the end of August, transfer revenue is $6 million ahead of the projected amount, and this is largely due to an excess transfer from the Insurance Division's Investor Education Fund. To summarize, cash fiscal year 2021 net revenue growth for July and August shows an increase of 25% compared to last year. This excessive rate of growth is due in large part, and perhaps in its entirety, to actions taken that delayed tax due dates from earlier months to July 31st. Towards the end of September, the state will close the books on fiscal year 2020 and distribute the July and August revenue between that fiscal year and fiscal year 2021. Once that process is complete, we will know if fiscal year 2020 ended with net revenue above or below the March 2020 Revenue Estimating Conference projections, and we will also be able to get a first look at how the current fiscal year is progressing. From what is known about the close of fiscal year 2020 so far, and the revenue deposited in July and August, it appears at this time that net revenue across the 2 fiscal years is reasonably close to projections. Thank you very much for your time and interest in Iowa General Fund revenue. Goodbye, and please check out the next monthly video memo that will be posted in early October. For that video, I will review final fiscal year 2020 net revenue.